people, especially in Bangladeshi people, they are very much interested to make a very friendly relationship with Pakistan, and even the constitutional norm of Bangladesh is that friendship to all and malice to none. The scenario here is that India is now very much desperate after the fall of Sheikh Hasina, and even Indian media repeatedly trying to spread misinformation and disinformation, and even the issue on torturing on minority Hindu community. This is totally based on false and fabricated information are being spread on a massive scale through the mainstream Indian media. And of course, Indian authority, especially the Modi administration, will try to destabilize the situation here now to continue the regime, or India, of course, will desperately try to assign here someone who will be loyal like Sheikh Hasina.
Watch Federal Post. Bold and independent.
Assalamu alaikum. This is Hasan Zafar with Talking Politics. I'm joined by Kamruzzaman Sahab from Bangladesh. Kamruzzaman Sahab, let me introduce. He is a TRT Bangladesh correspondent, and he's a senior journalist. We'll be talking about Pakistan-Bangladesh situation that is emerging. Thank you very much, Kamruzzaman Sahab, for joining me.
You're most welcome, and thank you for having me.
Indeed. The situation is developing very fast since August 2024. How do you see the Pakistan-Bangladesh relationship developing in the aftermath of the toppling down of Hasina Wajid regime?
Actually, the people, Bangladeshi people, are ready for friendly relationship with Pakistan, and even during the regime of Sheikh Hasina, who actually used as political weapon the hatred to Pakistan as a political weapon for her in this country. But during any cricket match between Pakistan and India, most of the people spontaneously support a Pakistani team. Actually, this is a natural expression of their love to Pakistan. People, especially in Bangladeshi people, they are very much interested to make a very friendly relationship with Pakistan, and even the constitutional norm of Bangladesh is that friendship to all and malice to none. But after the fall of Sheikh Hasina, who was actually very much subservient and loyal to India, and even Bangladeshi people as well as analysts mark Sheikh Hasina as a puppet of India. So after the fall of Sheikh Hasina, through a massive student movement that gradually turned into a mass uprising, the people now expressing their expression very freely. And now these people are interested to enhance the bilateral relationship, friendly relationship with the Muslim brotherly country of Pakistan. So after the fall of Sheikh Hasina on August 5, 2024, now there is a weather or atmosphere here in Bangladesh, and people are so much interested to boost the bilateral relations in terms of defense and other trade with Pakistan.
Right. This is very interesting. We heard reports that India is still pumping money into Bangladesh to the people who were supporting Hasina Wajid regime, and which is largely the Bangladeshi bureaucracy, in which maybe still some support resides for the old regime. How far is that correct, that India is still trying to come back through money?
Actually, for this, we don't have any formal statement from any government intelligence source. So I can't say very straightforwardly on it, but the scenario here is that India is now very much desperate after the fall of Sheikh Hasina, and even Indian media repeatedly trying to spread misinformation and disinformation, and even the issue on torturing on minority Hindu community. This is totally based on false and fabricated information are being spread on a massive scale through the mainstream Indian media. And of course, Indian authority, especially the Modi administration, will try to destabilize the situation here now to continue the regime, or India, of course, will desperately try to assign here someone who will be loyal like Sheikh Hasina, because India was taking benefits one-sidedly from Bangladesh in terms of business, and there are other hegemonic policy of India that was applied here in Bangladesh for the last 15 years during the regime of Sheikh Hasina. So now it's very natural that India will invest money here to boom the loyal people, or to try to manage some people who are a little bit unstable and who are a little bit greedy to the money or wealth. So it's very natural.
So all those possibilities
we can
exist.
predict it.
Yes, these
Yes.
possibilities do exist. What measures can they take to destabilize Bangladesh politically, economically, or security-wise? And the main question I have in mind, is there a real serious threat from India towards Bangladesh? Some military adventure, anything of that kind?
Actually, since the very beginning of the August 5 revolution here, we see various types of attempts by India, and even some people. It was thoroughly making and artificial. We understood it instantly that some people went close the border, and they were knee down water, and Indian media was spreading a news that some minority Hindu people who fled Bangladesh and trying to enter into India because their life is insecure here in Bangladesh. But what we see there, that some people, even that they have no luggage, there were no children, no female, only some young people. They were just knee down water, and some were filming with their mobile, and they were in a jolly mood, and they are claiming that, okay, we need help from you. Okay, and Indian media and Indian people filmed those just camera, and even some Hindu leaders later, when we interviewed them, they said that just after filming, those people and in India even didn't offer some food or any other courtesy. Just after filming, they went away. So there were so many artificial attempts by India to establish before the world that the country in Bangladesh, the minority Hindu people are not safe, and they are not secure.
We hear that propaganda all the time, that Hindu properties are being targeted and Hindus are being targeted individually. Is there a possibility that India can send infiltrators, some terrorists, into Bangladesh to destabilize the security situation there, repeating the episodes of 1971, the kind of Mukti Bayani thing was happened? Some that kind of movement can be pumped into Bangladesh?
Actually, now the administration of Bangladesh is very alert about any untoward situation in the coming days. But it's a little bit difficult to say whether India will take that type of risk, because if that is open, it will be a dangerous issue, and already the anti-Indian sentiment is very high here, and people are so much conscious about any conspiracy, even across the border. People are so much alert, and even the border guard Bangladesh, who are responsible to maintain security across the border, that means Bangladeshi border force, they are also now so much alert, and security measures across the border has been beefed up after August 5 revolution. So any type of conspiracies may be perpetrated from the other side of the border, from the neighboring country, but Bangladeshi authorities as well as law enforcement are also alert. But the fact is that still now there are so many people who were recruited by the Sheikh Hasina administration in bureaucracy judiciary, in law enforcing agencies. So that in the last 15 years, they made huge money illegally. So they are habituated in a luxurious life. But after the fall of Sheikh Hasina regime, those people are being self-motivated now because the style of the luxurious life has been fallen down after the fall of Sheikh Hasina. So they will also try to serve Indian purpose so that the former regime can be restored, or at least anyone who will be very much loyal to India can take the power after the change.
After
So we
the
are
change,
always
because they're incessantly saying one thing on the Indian media: when the elections take place in Bangladesh, things will be different. This is an unrealistic situation. That kind of propaganda is being done on the Indian media all the time. So, how do you plan to counter this kind of propaganda on the Indian media?
Actually, I had the opportunity to talk with some Indian media in the last couple of weeks, and I very straightforwardly stated the real scenario here in Bangladesh. And even I questioned Indian authorities at that time. Indian foreign diplomats were also on that talk show several times. I raised that during Sheikh Hasina regime, Bishwajit Das, a Hindu youth, was brutally murdered on broad daylight by the then ruling Awami League party's supporters, and it was well circulated through media and on social media, but there was no voice from any Indian side. And even during Sheikh Hasina regime, there were hundreds of incidents of evicting Hindu people from their land properties, and there are also other torturing on minority Hindu people by the then ruling Awami League parliament. But there was no reports, there was no concern from Indian side. But now, just after the fall of Sheikh Hasina, they are trying to manipulate some political incidents, covering those or filming those as incident of torturing on minority Hindu community that is totally false and fabricated. And even regarding the trial of Hindu leader Chinmay Krishna Das, there were huge propaganda by Indian media, but some Bangladeshi journalists who were invited as guest speaker by Indian media, most of them said the real facts. And even Bangladeshi media, though there are some loyal journalists, many loyal journalists still who were
Still having
benefited by Sheikh Hasina
still
regime,
having
they are also
inclination.
not
Yes,
being
still having
prompted by
inclination towards
Indian
India.
propaganda.
Hmm. So this anti-India sentiment in Bangladesh, how did it grow? What caused it to happen? Despite everything they were doing, they were investing in Bangladesh, they had loyals in Bangladesh, there was a huge anti-Pakistan propaganda. We heard all those things, and despite everything, despite all efforts, there is anti-India sentiment, and such overwhelming sentiment, if you like to say.
Actually, the anti-Indian sentiment has been grown up for many years, because you know that after the independence, India first set up a barrage on the Ganga or Podda River, Farakka Dam, and due to that Farakka Dam, the whole northern part of Bangladesh has been deserted, and desertification has affected the ecology and environment of this country hugely. And on almost on transboundary rivers, India set dams, and they divert water, and as a result, millions of people of Bangladesh have been affected hugely. So people sentiment are very against the India. Number one. Number two, there were frequent incident of border killings, and even civilian people of Bangladesh have been murdered, like shooting at the birds. So India is killing civilian people. They are claiming that they are illegal smuggler of cow traders. But do you think that is it civilized that any smuggler, if he is accused, he can be detained, he can face trial? But just after seeing shoot and kill, and by doing
Shoot on
this,
sight order. Well,
so many
not
civilian.
quite surprised, Mr. Kamruzzaman. I'm really not surprised the way Indians are operating, given the situation in the region. Border killings, they're building dams. I remember you visited that place yesterday yourself when we spoke on the telephone. What do you see
Yes, yes.
actually on the ground? What is the situation on the ground there where the
Yes.
dams are being built? Yes.
Yes, I visited the Tista River. That is a very important river, and many other rivers in Bangladesh have joined with Tista River. This is a very big river coming from India, and most part of the rivers are now fully filled with sediment and sands, and there is no river, only like a lake. So now the local people are doing their agriculture on the river bed, but ecology has already been destroyed there. And I visited some other rivers that has also been destroyed, and even many rivers since the 1971 till now, according to reports by different research organizations, more than 500 rivers in Bangladesh have been completely disappeared and destroyed, and mostly due to
That's
the
a very large
illegal,
number.
due to the dams set by India. So Bangladesh is being destroyed due to this one-sided controlling of international rivers, and India doesn't follow any international rules. Even we are low esteem countries, so it's the according to international law, India must ask Bangladesh before setting any dam or taking water. And even India is also there is a talk on the treaty on this water sharing, but different India raises different excuses, and till now there is no sign of there is no mark of signing that treaty.
When Hasina Wajid's government was in power, they were not paying attention to these problems at all. There was no voice raised against all of this with the Indian government.
Actually, during Hasina regime, we, the Bangladeshi people who are conscious, we never expect that Sheikh Hasina will or Hasina administration will raise voice against India, because you know that during the regime of Sheikh Hasina, there were three national elections in 2014, 2018, and 2024. All those elections were marked as very farcical, very without any voters, and all the opposition parties boycotted those elections, on-sided elections. And Hasina very illegally came to power again and again, and India nakedly supported all those elections and stood by Sheikh Hasina. And even due to the strong position of India, other Western countries were also bound not to take any hard action against those farcical elections. So, Hasina has no moral strength to stand
But what
against
I
any
don't
illegal
understand, Kamruzzaman,
activities of India.
what I don't understand, she named her father as the father of nation, Bangladeshi nation, and she had her loyalties elsewhere. This is very strange. It's quite awkward, isn't it? Why would she do that? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Actually, problem is that Sheikh Hasina was very greedy to power, and power is the main for him. For her, sorry, she was ready to do anything to keep on power. That's why when Sheikh Hasina understood that her popularity was on the bottom, so without the naked support of India, she couldn't continue her regime. Forgot the support of India. So that was the fact that people here also understood.
Yes, but here is an evolving situation. Now, after the toppling down of Hasina Wajid's regime, Pakistan and Bangladesh are coming closer. The doors are opening that remained shut for 5 decades almost. So, this changing situation has also invited a lot of criticism and strong response from India. But we also understand that we have to exist in the same neighborhood forever. We are destined to be here. How do you think that now Pakistan and Bangladesh should adopt a course of action? How to deal with India in the future?
Actually, it's really Bangladeshi people actually want to progress, and Bangladeshi people want to boost the friendship with those countries who really feel that Bangladesh has the right to progress as an independent country, as an independent nation. After 5 decades, the young generation who are very used to with the global trends, with the globalization, with the enhancement of information technology, they are not ready to stick with a very old issue and not to work together. Actually, I already said that this was an issue that Sheikh Hasina administration always tried to politically use and to politically motivate people. But people are so much conscious and they understand who are the real friend and from whom Bangladesh can be benefited. So Bangladesh want progress. Bangladesh want friendship to all who are interested to work with Bangladesh. Bangladesh is also interested to work
But
with them.
it looks quite unlikely that they are going to be friendly
So
towards Bangladesh anymore. And
after the fall of
Indians.
Sheikh Hasina,
It looks quite unlikely, at least in foreseeable future, that India is going to be really friendly toward Bangladesh or Pakistan. And after Bangladesh and Pakistan have started talking about some defense collaboration, Bangladesh is buying Pakistani missiles, 400-kilometer range, short-range ballistic missiles, Hataf 2. After this kind of move, it looks quite unlikely that India is going to show any friendly or any kind behavior towards Bangladesh, let alone Pakistan.
Actually, the India never wants that Bangladesh and Pakistan the defense sector work together in any arena because you know that during the regime of Sheikh Hasina, most of the military training for Bangladeshi soldiers were conducted by India, and India has a very strong hand even in those training jointly organized by US and Bangladesh. So now the India never wants that Bangladeshi defense sector, Bangladeshi military work independently. They think that it's a threat for them. Actually, Bangladesh, you know, that surrounded by India, and Bangladesh is a Muslim majority country. And now the Modi administration, who is on power, actually they used the Islamophobia or Muslim fear, and so any Muslim
Is that
country inside
also one of the reasons,
India.
Kamruzzaman Sahab, is that also one of the reasons Modi Saab's doings in India, Islamophobia, and the way he treated not only the Muslims in India, but also other minorities in India? Is BJP government's policy also a reason for anti-India sentiment within Bangladesh?
Yes, thank you. Actually, yes, you have raised the point very correctly. Even the relationship with Nepal, between Nepal and India is not very good, and the relationship with even Maldives, India has lost all its surrounding countries, and only Bangladesh they established a very strong hegemony due to now in India. The nature of India is actually that old. So India will try to dominate Bangladesh at any cost. And due to the information that Bangladesh and Pakistan relations is being boosted, it's a very tension for India. So India will try to spread different type of misinformation and disinformation and destabilize the peaceful environment here. Of course, Modi administration is also concerned that there are seven sisters where there is also an attempt of revolt by the deprived people there. Bangladesh has the border with those seven sisters. So India always very desperate to continue its complete dominance on Bangladesh. They are now like mad after the fall of Sheikh Hasina, because it was totally out of imagination that through this movement Sheikh Hasina will be fallen down and dethroned. It was out of the imagination of India.
Yes, but now the Pakistani soldiers and Bangladeshi soldiers will be conducting joint exercises. There will be some trainings going on. So, in Pakistani soldiers are going to replace Indian soldiers that were training by Bangladeshi forces. How does it look to the Bangladeshi people, despite all the stories about the heinous crimes Pakistani soldiers committed, and all unimaginable things that have been said, and it has been widely discussed in the Indian media today? How does it look to Bangladeshi people, and how does it look to the Indian people now?
Actually, due to massive circulation of this historical event, there is a sentiment in Bangladeshi people about the 1971 Liberation War. So many people were murdered here. That was a war, and the young generations actually who are the change maker now. They also want that on this issue, Bangladesh and Pakistan government should hold dialogue and reach a solution regarding the past history. Actually, there is also some interesting development that even during the Sheikh Hasina regime, there was a list prepared by Hasina administration who were the collaborator of Pakistani army during the liberation war, and in that list, the majority names were from Awami League party, and they were astonished. Actually, that was a situation when Bangladesh was the part of Pakistan, so that was a war between these two parts. So the bitter situation, even that during the Second World War, United States put atomic bomb on Japan, but both countries are now working together.
But there's
For their
another side to
mutual
it, Kamruzzaman Sahab. There's
interest.
another side to it. Whatever
So
the situation was,
Bangladeshi people are
whatever the situation was between West Pakistan and East Pakistan at that time, it was our internal matter. We had political problems, we had other problems, whatever problem, it was an internal matter. Have the Bangladeshi people never questioned what was the role of India? Why were they poking their nose into our affairs? It was our affairs at that time, and they started funding the guerrilla movement and what not at that time. And the plea was that no, we cannot remain silent. This is what Mrs. Gandhi said at that time. We cannot remain silent, or we cannot avert our gaze upon whatever is happening in our neighborhood. And there was a mass migration. We had mass migration from Afghanistan during the 1980s. Does it provide us the same right to invade Afghanistan if we buy her logic? So it gives us the same right to do what she did, gives us the same right to do in Afghanistan. How do you buy this whole narrative which the Indians have built over the years?
Actually, there are some writers here, even in Bangladesh, many writers, and even one of the front-ranking leaders during the 1971 Liberation War, Mr. Tajuddin. His daughter also has written a book regarding the historical events in 1971. Actually, it's very clear now to the people of Bangladesh that India took part in that war just to ensure that the united Pakistan should be separated. Because India thought that if the united Pakistan is separated, India could establish its hegemony here in Bangladesh, and Pakistan will be weak. So it was the target of India. So India did for their own interest, and even India stately does not acknowledge the war, that it was a war between two parts of Pakistan. Even they mark it as a war between India and Pakistan. So their target was actually to separate united Pakistan, to weaken it. And even before the 1971 Liberation War, India didn't dare to make any barriers on the trans-boundary rivers. But after the liberation, India first put Farakka Dam, then on all trans-border rivers, and now we are being deprived.
And now we know why they wanted to do this.
From the right sharing of waters.
So Yes, exactly. So now we know their interest in doing all that they did. They wanted to weaken the eastern wing of Pakistan by disintegrating it and then take advantage of the situation there by stopping the water. Like if we were standing together and close, united, they couldn't do those things which they did in the last 50 years. So that's the case. And now it's out in the open.
Yes. So India has fulfilled its target, but there were some the people of Bangladesh. You know that Bangladeshi people also so much courageous in compared to the Indian. Even Bangladeshi border guard or previous BTR, the soldiers are also very in war. Had some bitter experience, so much desperate to weak the defense force of Bangladesh, keeping their dummy, their loyal puppet like Sheikh Hasina on power, and weak all the defense sectors, border guard force. India took many measures. But sudden incident or revolution, August Revolution, August 5 Revolution, changed everything. So India is now so much desperate how they can realize this country. Seemingly, but still now there are so many loyal people to Sheikh Hasina. So that is a matter of concern, and that she's going through.
So now we are close and together again. It has come the full circle. The wheel has gone full circle. We are standing close and together again. How does it feel to Bangladeshi people? It feels very good to Pakistani people once again.
Yes, Bangladeshi people actually very much interested to enhance people-to-people connectivity, and many Bangladeshi people are interested to visit Pakistan. So during the visit by Bangladeshi team in Pakistan in the last couple of years, most of the team proposed Pakistani administration that direct flight is very much important, and the visa process should be eased between these two countries so that people-to-people connectivity is boosted. And even during my visit to Pakistan, I visited some very residential areas, remote areas to understand what the sentiment of Pakistani people. And I saw that the people, general people of Pakistan, they have very lovely feeling to Bangladeshi people. And even the Bangladeshi people who are now living in Pakistan for many years, they are now also the citizen of Pakistan, and they are also living in a very peaceful environment. They are doing their business and other activities. Now, it's very much important to enhance to start direct flight, and of course,
Direct
people to
flight, visa
people,
upon arrival.
different types
If
of
we
program can be held,
student exchange program, visa
and on
can do that. With visa upon our arrival, we can gradually maybe remove even visa restriction for both countries. They can just take their passport and come wherever they want to come. So the last thing that I would like to ask you, SARC organization has increasingly become ineffective, and India lost interest in that organization because they were not allowed to, or maybe they could not play the lead role in that organization. Is there a possibility of reviving the SARC organization? Will it benefit?
Yes, thank you. Actually, yeah, of course. Actually, you know that the idea of SARC first came in the mind of late President Ziaur Rahman. Actually, Bangladesh is always very much interested to active the SARC because through this platform, all the South Asian countries can work together, can take plans for joint development. But Indian policy is that all the surrounding countries will be very subservient to them, and India will establish its hegemony over the surrounding countries. But if SARC is very much active, in that case, that intention of India will not be fulfilled. So India will always try to make the SARC platform very inactive. But as Sheikh Hasina regime has been changed, and there is a new regime now, and fortunately the young generations are now playing a very active role, and they are very much freedom loving, and they are very much conscious about history and about the global trends. So now it's a very perfect time to revive the SARC platform again. If India opposes it, in that case, my suggestion is that Pakistan, Bangladesh, and other SARC countries can raise their voice together jointly. And in that case, India will be weak. And actually, India also should understand that if SARC is active and all work together, this is a very good reason. There is huge wealth, there is huge manpower. So if they jointly work, then that will be very helpful for
But
the
the
joint
problem
progress, the
here
whole
is,
region.
but the problem is when you have an organization like that, you have to be prepared to sit with your smaller neighbors as equals. And for that, perhaps they are not ready. Thank you so much, Kamruzzaman Bablu Sahab, for your time. It was a pleasure talking to you, and thank you very much for watching.
Thank you very much for having me. And we are also hopeful to boost our friendly ties for the mutual interest of both countries. And I expect this.
Certainly, certainly. Thank you very much once again. Khuda Hafiz, Pakistan Zindabad.